Why do some countries thrive while most stagnate? Well, one ingredient is economic freedom. Are you free to write the script of your own life? One country where you are, says Naomi Brockwell, is Israel.
Israel is renowned for a lot of things, like the Dead Sea or the nightlife in Tel Aviv. But it's also known as Startup Nation.
What small country has more NASDAQ-listed stocks than India and China combined?
But it wasn't always like this.
Israel is a fine example, moving towards socialism.
What changed? And what is it about Israel today that
Creates such an entrepreneurial culture.
It's a sink or swim economy.
Maybe it's just something in the water.
Israel's called Startup Nation, and it's a fit name because it has the highest concentration of startups in the world per capita. It wasn't always that way. There was a legacy of socialism that overhung and it weighed down on the backs of the entrepreneurs. For example, there used to be a tariff on personal computers. And if you're trying to build a software industry, that's not a good policy.
early in its history, Israel tried locally controlled collectives that lacked private property.
And they first started out mostly on a communal basis called kibbutzim. And those kibbutzim lasted for a few generations, but then they petered out because the ideology didn't last. People need to do their own thing.
After a period of rampant inflation, the Israeli government's bad economic policies began to catch up with it.
The Israeli banks all failed. The government nationalized all of them, and the country went into economic crisis.
And with threats around their borders, they had to act fast.
It almost lost the 1973 war. They didn't have enough money to buy arms, and they didn't have enough technology to build their own. The military came to the Israeli leaders and basically said, if we don't have a strong economy, we won't be able to build and buy the right technology to defend ourselves, and we may lose the next war. Advice of economists from University of Chicago, MIT, following in the Milton Friedman School of Thought, basically said, Israel, you have to free the entrepreneurs. They will succeed where you have failed. The Israeli government started on an amazing bipartisan left plus right combinational program, and that led to the real entrepreneurial boom. That's why Tel Aviv and Israel in general has the highest concentration of startups per capita in the entire world.
Not only did Waze and Wix start here, but also many inventions we take for granted daily, such as Google's autofill or using a memory stick.
What were the major changes that the government implemented?
They allowed stock options, they allowed debt to be used for mergers and acquisitions. They reformed tariffs and taxes, reducing both of them, and allowing for the first venture capital funds in the history of the country.
What's the biggest difference between a startup in Israel and in the US?
In the US, we excel at marketing. In Israel, they excel at engineering. In Israel, they say, here's a real problem. How do we solve that tough problem? And life is precarious there, so they know that they have to succeed.
Today, Israel has the largest number of startups per capita in the world.
We need to just let the market do its thing. It was getting rid of taxes and tariffs and stupid red tape that allowed Israel to become Startup Nation.
If you like my channel, please hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. I also have a Patreon account and wanted to give a special shout out to all the awesome people there. And a huge thank you to the sponsors of the show for making these videos possible. Thanks so much for watching.
She used to just party, go all the way.